Before I get into this video, guys, just roll the clip. Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of my matchday vlog / reviews for the Preston games today. Now this one's a bit of a downer really. We did in the end walk away with a 1-1 draw against relegation bound MK Dons. So not the best result from a Preston perspective, and definitely not the performance that we were after in this game today. I think that because the negatives of today could drag on for a little bit, I'm going to get all the positives out of the way first, since that's how I like to start the videos out with. So the first positive that I have to bring up is, of course, Ben Pearson was absolutely phenomenal for us. In the first half, he was absolutely outstanding. Literally, it's by far the best performance I've seen Ben Pearson have in a Preston shirt ever, you know. It's the best I've seen him play because he was absolutely phenomenal for us. Literally, he was winning every ball in midfield. He was flying in with tackles, winning everything in the air. He was mopping everything up for us, and I've been a bit of a doubter of Ben Pearson really. I've never so much slagged him off, but I've not really seen his full potential yet, and I just wasn't really sure what to think of him really. But if today is anything to go by, hopefully we'll see more of that next season, because obviously he's still a young and developing player, so hopefully we'll see more of that in, you know, years to come at Preston, because he was absolutely phenomenal. It was a shame in the second half that he was actually brought off pretty early into the second half, I believe, but I think the reason for that was that I think he didn't have a little bit of an aggravated injury, and at the end of the match he seemed to be limping off a little bit. So I think that the reason he did come off was a precaution not to get injured, not so much as it was a tactical change. So that's the reason. I was a bit disappointed that he did actually come off, but you know, if that was with an injury I could understand. And of course it was nice to see Jermaine Beckford getting back on the goal scoring sheet. Obviously I think it was after about 6 minutes or so, Beckford managed to get back on the score sheet. It was very nice to see him starting for Preston once again, and you know, we've never actually lost a game when Jermaine Beckford has started, so that's a nice little stat I thought I'd throw in there. After the first half performance we had, I thought we played some pretty decent stuff in the first half, but the thing that's been a reoccurring problem for Preston this season is that we've just not been able to bury teams. When we've been the team on top, we've just not been able to finish them off early on when we're the team on top, and that really has hindered our season really. Don't get me wrong, this season has been absolutely phenomenal. We've more than exceeded our expectations, but so many times, especially lately, I think that's like 2 wins we've now got in our last 9 matches. Really not good enough. So after a semi-decent first half, I was expecting us to go out into the second half with a bit more prowess maybe, and just to finish off this pretty poor MK Dons side, because no offense to any MK Dons fans that may be watching this, but in the first half I didn't really think that you were that great, but in the second half you just completely changed, and that was mainly, in my opinion, down to us just backing off and not winning our battles in midfield today. I think as fans we can forgive bad performances from players. You know, if say it's just not a player's day, they're getting the ball, they're trying to get across it just isn't working for them, they're trying new passes out, stuff like that, it just isn't going for them. Fans can forgive that. They can overlook players having a bad game, but players not putting effort in, that's what I really struggle with doing, and I think a lot of fans, you know, struggle with that. I can think of so many occasions in today's match where players were just walking back into their positions. They didn't really look interested. They would lose the ball, not seem that bothered to get back and win the ball back. You know, they weren't putting in challenges. They weren't winning their individual battles today. And honestly, I thought it was a lack of concentration in the second half and really a lack of effort, which is really disheartening to say, especially from this Preston side who's got such a good team spirit and have worked for each other so well throughout this season. It's really disheartening to see towards the end of the season they seem to be just losing concentration, and you know, a couple of them seem to be losing interest, if I'm being completely honest. And now for a player who it seems to me that a lot of fans are running out of patience with. I'm of course talking about Daniel Johnson. Now it's been months really since we've seen a good performance put in from Daniel Johnson. I honestly don't know what this is, you know. Towards in our season in League One, our promotion season, outstanding. Start of this season, outstanding. Up until about November, December, he was probably our player of the season, I'd say. And then after that, just after January, he's been absolutely abysmal. I think it shows our real lack of squad depth, really, that he keeps getting back into the team with these mediocre performances. I hope that it's just an extended dip in form, because this is more than just a dip in form now. This is an extended dip of form, because dips of form, in my opinion, they can last for a month or two at most, you know, maybe a week or something like that, but to last for half the season, that's a massive dip in form in my opinion. So I'm hoping he'll be able to find his way through this, because obviously he is still a young player and, you know, it's his first full season in the Championship, but to be vacant for half of it, I just don't really think that's good enough. Also, the goal we conceded, I was massively disappointed by. Lindegaard, I've got no idea what he was doing for that. Massive howler from his position, and also Huntington as well. I didn't actually think Huntington played that bad. You know, he did put in some decent challenges, but what he was doing for the goal we conceded, I've got absolutely no idea. And then, of course, there was the moment of madness from Preston, where basically this was just it was just hysterical, really. It was just laughable what basically was to happen in the final moments of the game. Basically, Owen Doyle went down. Their keeper, I think it was Cropper, brought him down in the box. He managed to get a penalty, Doyle, and it was a red card to their goalkeeper. If you've not seen already, you know, you must have seen it because it was absolutely everywhere. Alex Ravel then went in there and had his penalty. Joe Garner then took the penalty against Alex Ravel and had his penalty saved, and literally I just couldn't believe it. You know, I could not believe it, and that basically summed up our afternoon, really. A striker saving Joe Garner's penalty summed up our afternoon completely. We then had numerous opportunities after that, and we still couldn't find the back of the net to get this win, which a lot of fans really wanted. I really wanted to be MK'd on today, but it just wasn't to be. Callum Robinson had an absolutely fantastic chance. He only needed to hit the target, but he put it over the bar. Literally, when you've got a striker in net, just hit the target. He puts it over the bar. I think he panics in that situation. And honestly, if I was to give that squad that went out there today an average match rating, first half I'd say it was about a 6 or a 7. Thought we were pretty decent in the first half. Second half it was down to a 3 or 4. We were absolutely awful in the second half. And it really was down to a lack of effort and commitment and concentration, really, which is all the basic things you expect to see when you go watch a football match. Which, don't get me wrong, like I've said from numerous times throughout this season and this video, we've more than exceeded my expectations. But is there any excuse to not putting a performance in, or putting in effort in, or concentration towards the end of the season? I don't think it is, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys did think of the match. I would normally suggest what I should think we should go for our next few games, you know, for the Birmingham match and for the Burnley match coming up next. But honestly, I don't really know what I'd do after that, really, because too many players from that game showed a lack of commitment and all stuff like that. I really don't know what I'd do for Tuesday, if I'm being honest, against Birmingham. Let me know in the comments down below the players you would drop. I'd be very interested to know who you guys think you would drop for that Birmingham match, and whether you think we'll walk away with anything now from any of our remaining games in the season. Obviously, Birmingham I think will be a tough match. They're a good team in this league. I think that Burnley's going to be a definitely tough match. Our players are going to need to be up for that. They cannot be thinking about their holidays when we go up against Burnley, because that is an absolutely massive match for us. Reading will be another tough match, and Leeds could go either way, honestly. So let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. I'd be interested to know. So to wrap up this video, guys, I thought I'd talk about a couple of things I think should happen for next season. I think today, if anything, it showed we really do need to freshen up our squad over the summer. I think that is absolutely pivotal for us, because towards the end of this season, you know, don't get me wrong, these players have served us absolutely excellently, but we definitely need a revitalization in the summer, because we're starting to stagnate now, we're starting to level out, and after a while of leveling out, we'll start to decline, and that's just the sad truth of what will happen if we don't get the right players in the summer, which I really desperately hope we do manage to do. Other than that, guys, I don't really have much to say about this game. It was just a bit of a mental game in the end, guys, and it was just laughable at our second half performance, and I really was disheartened by it. Let me know in the comments down below. Like I said, all the questions that I posed to you guys throughout this video, I'd be very interested to know. So if you have enjoyed this video, guys, make sure you do hit the like button. If you are an MK Dons fan or a Preston fan, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the game and all good stuff like that. But other than that, guys, I will see you all in the next one. My God. How on earth did Alex Ravel save that penalty?